A key component of the modern world economy, the chemical industry delivers products and innovations to enhance everyday life. It is also an industry in transformation, where chemical executives and workers are delivering growth and industry-changing advancements while responding to pressures from investors, regulators, and public opinion. Discover how leading companies are approaching these challenges here on The Chemical Show. Join Victoria Meyer, president of Progressio Global and host of The Chemical Show, as she speaks with executives across the industry and learns how they are leading their companies to grow, transform, and push industry boundaries on all frontiers. Here's your host, Victoria Meyer.
Hi, this is Victoria Meyer. Welcome back to The Chemical Show. This week, I have the opportunity to speak with Jennifer Braun, who is the Vice President and General Manager of Trinity Logistics. Jennifer started working in logistics straight from college when she started working with carriers and worked her way through to sales and account management and various leadership roles. Currently, Jennifer oversees sales and operations and develops future leaders for Trinity's Regional Service Center in Kansas City. Jennifer, welcome to The Chemical Show.
Thank you so much. It is good to be here.
Glad to have you. So let's just start with, what is your origin story? Why did you get interested in the wonderful world of logistics?
That is a great question. So, like many students entering college, I had so many ideas of what I might want to do as my forever career, and ended up just with a very generic business degree. And in college, I started working at a big corporation that had multiple departments. So logistics is really just kind of where I ended up. It was fast-paced, interesting, and it seemed like there was a lot of potential for growth. So here I am, 20-some years later.
I know. So obviously it worked out okay.
Yes, I guess you could say that. It sure did.
Excellent. So tell us a little bit about Trinity Logistics, just about the company and what you guys do.
Yeah. So Trinity Logistics is a top-ranked freight company, freight brokerage, freight solutions, technology company. We have been ranked for 21 straight years by Transport Topics as a top freight brokerage in the United States. And we are a part of the Burris Logistics group of companies, and we are rapidly growing. We've been in business over 45 years, and we have expanded now to 7 different regional service centers and over 120 agent offices. And it's just a great company to work for.
Awesome. That's really exciting. And so from a freight services perspective, do you guys actually own the trucks, or are you sourcing it for your customers and your clients?
Right. So mostly we outsource and partner with specially chosen carrier partners. On the Burris side, we do have many pieces of equipment that we actually own. The Burris side has cold storage warehouses and trucks making deliveries every day to food clients. And in most of the other regional service centers, it is outsourcing.
Okay, interesting. So logistics and supply chain has been in the spotlight really since the beginning of the pandemic. And I think you and I both know it's been a critical part of the economy forever, but it seems to have become really a household topic of conversation in the past 3 years.
Right.
How did the pandemic affect you and Trinity, and what did you guys do to respond to the challenges? What were your challenges and how did you respond?
Yes, that is a great question. I mean, just supply chain became almost a meme on social media. You know, I got supply chain issues was the meme there for about a year. And really how this impacted Trinity is we've always been customer focused, and we had to really amplify just being there for our customers, because during the pandemic, so many customers went through this extreme crash of not having very much business at all going on, but yet we had to be there to service their needs if and when they needed it, to then later having this explosion of growth as the country started reopening and had shipments that they needed to get fulfilled and delivered to their customers. One of the biggest things we have been able to do is a lot of the supply chain issues that companies have experienced has been more on the supply side, upstream. Their suppliers not being able to produce whatever the product is or source that. So just having it available to ship was the bigger problem, and then to source the truck then became the secondary problem. So oftentimes we ended up being even more so of a middle person communicating to our customer what we were hearing from the supplier who may or may not have had that product. So many customers really relied on us to be their just their communication piece and being able to do whatever it would take to service their customers. If that meant making last minute changes to an order or running with a shipment that maybe only half full because that's all the supplier could get ready at that time. Just really being nimble and flexible to the nth degree to do whatever it would take to make that customer meet their obligations.
Yeah. Interesting. And Trinity serves not just chemicals. I know chemicals is a component of your business, but you're serving across a wide variety of potential customers. So there was a lot of, I guess, different challenges depending on your customer and supplier set.
Right. You are so right. We have a lot of food clients too. So a lot of construction, a lot of heavy machinery, and all of those different companies had the pandemic impact them in different ways. So, having a company like Trinity that is so diverse with the industry verticals that we are able to provide solutions for, I think is really key to helping out a wider set of companies across the United States.
Yeah. So the things that you learned during the pandemic, how have they changed your business today? Like, what did you learn and what did you carry forward to how you guys are conducting business today?
Yeah, that's a great question. We have definitely carried forward our continued focus on customer centric. We don't have just one way of doing things and one rock solid standard that customers have to abide by to be a client of Trinity. Whatever the customer needs, that's what we're going to do. I think technology really, it's always been a big focus of Trinity, but there were a lot of pieces of technology and the way that the world interacted with technology, and Trinity is no exception to that. That really was amplified, and some things were accelerated during the pandemic. So just being able to quickly transition to that flexible work remote as needed, and to be able to have it be completely seamless to the customer. No interruption in phone service, no interruption in typical email service, no interruption with payments and invoicing, any of that. I think just being able to quickly pivot has been one of the things that we did well at the beginning of the pandemic, and we have just really accelerated how well we are able to perform in those categories.
Yeah, interesting. Let's talk a little bit about digital, because I think the pandemic really accelerated this focus on digitization, and as you reference, this ability to work from anywhere, which I would imagine many of the carriers already had to have some of that. But what are you seeing? What were do you have a specific digital strategy, and has this increased focus on digitization more broadly across the economy changed your business?
Yes, it sure has. Trinity is our technology program is led by a chief technology officer, and we have got several new programs that we have integrated with over the last couple of years to really strengthen the way that we are able to interact with the carriers and the customers, both in terms of getting information on GPS tracking for shipments and notifying customers of their orders. Customers are able to place orders online. They're able to do all their billing and invoicing online. And we also have a lot of, I guess, cybersecurity has become a huge focus over the last 10 years or so. So depending on the type of company that we're working with, I mean, there's some companies that are targets in that. So they need all their business partners to have really rock solid processes when it comes to cybersecurity. Trinity has a very strong education department too. So the whole e-learning and ability to onboard new hires and to be able to train people effectively via technology is important. Our long-term strategy, we have a 3-year roadmap, and that is to just become an industry leader with technology. We do have a technology service offering, and customers are really able to do a deeper dive into their own company and their data to make really strong decisions, use that business intelligence to have economic forecasting, sales forecasting, being able to rate their partners and to make just better decisions on how they ship and what areas of the country they pull in from, so that they can really, I guess, strengthen their supply chain. And that I see as a trend that will just continue to grow. It's not a matter of if a company is going to adopt technology, a transportation management system, but more of when. When are they going to do that? Because you have to, if you want to improve anything within your company, it starts with having access to the data and being able to see it for what it is, having an awareness of what's going well and where there may be gaps. That's the critical component before you can make any kind of changes.
Yeah, interesting. I think that's right. I think it's becoming a necessary requirement. What's interesting is I think of logistics and trucking as being a bit old school, much like people would categorize the chemical industry. And a lot of times it feels like there's people reluctant to make change, especially change when you think about digital. And yet we kind of don't have a choice. You need a way to process the data. You need a way to be more efficient. Cybersecurity, health and safety, all of that is affected by our ability to interact, communicate, combine systems with business partners, et cetera.
Absolutely. What we have seen is to be able to retain your position and to gain new clients, you must be on the cutting edge of new technology development and adopting to different platforms. Because the companies that choose not to keep up with technology, they risk potentially going out of business soon, because the larger companies that are incorporating technology into their business, they will only typically do business with other like-minded companies, like that whole integration piece. If you don't have the capability of integrating with a company's maybe required technology, then they'll go find a different partner.
Yeah. Interesting. It's kind of the whole aspect of
to be able to do their business. Yep.
Right. You have to keep up or be left behind.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about chemicals. So we know that you guys Trinity serves a variety of different markets. How does the chemical market differ from your other markets that you serve? What do you do differently with it, or what's similar really about it versus the rest of your business?
So with the chemicals, you can definitely see a bit more of a trend line of the chemical shipping and the volumes being in alignment with construction and manufacturing. So when you have periods of boom for construction and manufacturing, then you also see the increased need for chemicals, So it can be a little bit more varied. Consumer products or food that oftentimes will stay fairly consistent because people don't just quit eating. They're going to continue to eat. They're going to continue to use whatever, daily consumer products that they might use. The chemicals, companies can pull ahead orders or delay orders, oftentimes depending on price advantages with tariffs or with different, what would you call them? Like discounts, like companies may have different thresholds, ordering thresholds or discounts that they may get if they perceive that there's going to be a new tax starting on a certain date, then maybe they can pull those orders behind or push ahead. So I will say that the chemicals definitely have a more of a vetting process when choosing your partners. So there are many things that need to happen to be safe and in compliance with DOT regulations, and with that, customers regulations, getting the information on the chemical itself, the safety data sheet, making sure that the packaging and all the labeling that the shipper has done that, and making sure that the driver and the company hired meets the safety requirements, say for hazmat registration or for tanker endorsement. So there's, I guess, a lot more vetting that goes into that, just to make sure that we're keeping our community safe, or the driver safe, the community safe.
We'll be right back. At Ecovist, they're accelerating the transition to a sustainability-driven future. Their long history of innovation, expertise, and customer collaboration supports the development of proprietary catalysts and services across their two industry-leading businesses, Advanced Materials and Catalysts and Eco Services. Advanced Materials and Catalysts is a leader in proprietary and customized technologies for polymers, cleaner fuels, emissions control, and circularity. Eco Services is the largest North American recycler of spent sulfuric acid. Ecovist, your catalyst for positive change. We'll be right back. This episode is sponsored by Jungbundslauer. Jungbundslauer is a leading manufacturer of ingredients of natural origin. With 150 years of experience, they are dedicated to helping their customers create healthier, safer products. Jungbundslauer's mission, from nature to ingredients, is realized with their state-of-the-art technologies and investments in energy, water, and waste-saving programs. Thanks, Jungbundslauer.
Chemicals on our highways.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in fact, when you talked about cybersecurity earlier, it also made me think really about the safety and security aspects of handling chemicals, because,
yes,
as you say, it is very different. It's a higher standard and a higher threshold than perhaps some other products that get transported.
Absolutely.
And so, understanding those rules and regs and requirements, both from a legal perspective, but also just from a customer and company point of view, is critical.
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what are you seeing in freight markets today? I mean, so I know things were really crazy for the past couple of years. We thought that 2023 was going to settle out. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. What are you guys seeing from that perspective?
Right. So the past several months have definitely been a pretty significant downturn. Demand is way down, and the industry, the word for it is rebalancing. The industry is definitely undergoing a significant rebalancing from the inflated numbers of 2022, where everybody was trying to build their inventory levels up. We've got to restock because we couldn't get enough of whatever it was that we needed to have available for our customers. Most companies, no matter what their industry, they couldn't get their hands on enough product in 2021. So by the time that product started being available in 2022, it was all about replenishing. And then there started to be economic downturn, or at least talks of that, and some industry segments have definitely slowed down, which led to some over inventoried companies over the winter time, I guess, maybe still early 2023. So there have been quite a few trucking companies and independent contractors who have left the market, had their MC revoked. And it's just a big time of rebalancing. The market itself is still somewhat in a state of oversupply, and the demand has been waning, as I mentioned, for several months. So at some point in the second half of 2023, there will probably reach some kind of threshold where those two are even again, right? The demand and the supply. So it's been an interesting year. As much as there was a significant crazy ride to the top mid to end pandemic, this year, and it really started mid 2022. It's been a pretty significant decline. So it's meant for us that we continue to do what we do well every day, and that's really be there for our customers, and whatever they need is what we're able to supply them with. So it hasn't changed our business that much per se. I mean, Trinity is a stable company that does not believe in overhiring. We haven't had any layoffs like some of our counterparts have. And I mean, we're still in growth mode, honestly, because we do sense that there could be some opportunities for growth in this market. When there's rebalancing, some of the less capable, how do I want to phrase this? Some of the companies that maybe aren't in it long term, if there's any customers that are kind of left in the dust that, weren't being taken care of if a company goes out of business, we sure want to be able to position ourselves as helping out in every way we can. So it's definitely been a different year.
Yeah, it seems like it. I think that's true across the industry. And you mentioned, I think I would say these opportunistic companies, right? So that came in when they saw the opportunity, but it's hard to maintain a real business.
Absolutely.
And then you find it out when the market starts softening. So you started talking about keeping your customers and suppliers kind of happy. How does Trinity differentiate itself when you think about your customer experience and your supplier experience? How do you differentiate yourself, and what do you find to be really important in those relationships?
Oh, that's a great question. And really, I know I've mentioned it a couple of times, but it's really customer first. And really, our tagline is people centric. That's what we mean. I mean, we put a lot of training and careful thought into how to deliver the best experience to internal customers and external customers. We try to have happy, well-trained teammates who are in Trinity, hopefully as a career, so that there's less turnover within some of the key account management roles, servicing customers. And we lead with integrity. So when we make a promise to a customer or have information about a shipment and the timeline for that, or what the pricing may be on that, we hold firm to that. We do. So some offices have customers that have been loyal to Trinity for 25, 30 years.
That's
So,
awesome.
I mean, if you've got some customer, and these are big companies, these aren't, someone's, you know, cousin or brother that ships a couple of shipments a month, although that's great too. That's wonderful too. But, we have companies that are like Fortune 500 companies that are choosing Trinity for 20 and 30 years. These are smart, well-ran companies that have like stringent supplier evaluations every year, and Trinity exceeds their expectations time and time again. So just that integrity and putting the customer's needs first and having, great communication to keep the customer apprised. And, we do a lot to make sure we're in alignment across many platforms with that customer, whether it be sustainability and green initiatives, safety and compliance. A lot of companies serve their communities and have community service as a part of their company culture, as does Trinity. So, and a lot of companies are privately held or family owned and operate on a set of guiding values, as does Trinity. So these are some of the ways that we really try to connect with our customers so that they feel like it's a relationship and it's not just a number and not just a profit mark for us, but it's a real relationship.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think your comment about leading with integrity is really critical, right? It starts to define what those relationships are, who you do business with, how you do business with them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that keeps, as you say, some of the consistency for 20, 25 years with customers, because they know that you've got that value and alignment.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great. So let's talk a little bit about talent. For a lot of years, we've been hearing about a shortage of truck drivers and talent and logistics. I mean, certainly over the past several years, we've seen a shortage of talent everywhere. But when we think about the logistics world, what's Trinity doing to help close the talent gap? First of all, do you see a talent gap? And secondly, how are you closing that?
We do see a talent gap. So to combat that, there are many programs and initiatives that Trinity has been doing for a number of years, and some that we've even increased what we're doing. First and foremost is we treat our teammates right from the get-go. So I think it starts with a great onboarding process, a great education training process. There is visibility and communication through all levels of the company. Intentionality, I think, is the word that I'd want people to think of. Trinity is intentional with how we treat people and how we develop relationships. So there are coffee chats that our president, Sarah Ruffcorn, she will have coffee chats with just a random sampling of Trinity teammates every quarter. That extends throughout the entire executive leadership staff. So imagine being someone that's with Trinity 3 months or 4 months or 6 months, and you're in a coffee chat with our CFO or our president. I mean, that's pretty neat, right? Your voice matters. So that definitely is a component of it, to try to retain that talent once we have it in the door. Regular communication, regular reviews, a lot of feedback, coaching. All that is helpful. That we have several partnerships with universities around the United States, specific partnerships where Trinity is sponsoring different events on the college, sending Trinity teammates, leaders to these colleges, and meeting with the students, in trying to hire them as interns, trying to hire them as actual teammates if they're seniors and graduating. Definitely have ramped up our social media presence, trying to find the candidates where they're at, right? So really trying to interact with the candidates in a multitude of formats, a lot of technology-driven tools to try to find teammates, a lot of assessments and surveys that are sent out to potential candidates to try to find the best fit for the candidate and for Trinity, right? This is a people job. I mean, we do have some admin functions that I guess aren't quite as heavy in the people component, but in my office, if you don't like people and you don't like talking on the phone, this may not be the job, because you're going to be on the phone and on the email all day long trying to help people with shipments and working with trucking companies, trying to get them the best load and trying to help a customer out of a jam that maybe forgot to order some materials. So now, oh my gosh, it's, 2:00 on a Wednesday and I've got to have this stuff picked up tomorrow morning to deliver Friday. So there's a lot that Trinity does. People typically love working at Trinity, and we've kind of found if they can get through the first 6 months of logistics, because it is kind of chaotic, I mean, if you are a very orderly person and it has to be black and white, I mean, that's kind of not the way a lot of businesses, and certainly not logistics, that's not the way it works. So you have to kind of thrive in a fast-paced environment and like people. So that's what our recruiting department, they're finding us all those people that that want to thrive in a fast-paced environment.
Yeah. How do you work with your carriers and your partners to help them in their talent challenges? Do you guys partner together, or do you really just work to help support them with those needs?
We have there's a National Truck Driver Appreciation Week that's held every September, and that's a national event. So Trinity is always a big supporter and sponsor of National Truck Driver Appreciation Week. We have specific metrics around relationship carriers and partnerships. We try to get to know our trucking companies on a first name basis. There are different reward programs that Trinity has in place to make it easier for the truck drivers. We have a load board that they can look at our shipments. We've got, as I mentioned earlier, many offices, and obviously we're all hooked up to the same technology and computer systems. So if I'm helping a driver on something in one area of the country, and if he has a need in a different part of the country, I can help find him what he needs just by sourcing through the computer and maybe finding him a shipment that another office has and pairing that together. So I don't know if that's
serving it down to the individual driver.
Yeah, we do that. Companies themselves, when they're trying to place drivers, that's a whole nother element. I guess we try to help in an indirect fashion as much as possible by being easy to work with and just keeping the lines of communication open on what we're seeing work well with different drivers or not.
What's next for you and for Trinity? If we look out ahead to the rest of 2023, what are you guys what are you expecting? What are you working on? What's next?
Oh, wow. There are so many awesome things that we have in the works. We are always looking to strengthen our position in the company and with our customers. So we're constantly looking to expand, both in terms of relationship and the locations. In 2022, early 2022, we had expanded it with an office in Scottsdale, Arizona, and that's going very well. The RW Zant location, they're out in California. That's a Burris Logistics. That's another company on the food side. But nevertheless, it's another company, another position, strengthening the overall company with a presence out on the West Coast, serving those customers out there. Trinity is definitely expanding in a couple of key areas. The technology is a big one. We've got definite aggressive goals to keep expanding that technology offering to our customers, both current and prospective, and just expanding our presence within the industry. there's a increase in community involvement. Trinity's foundation that serves the different communities and the locations that we are. There's a goal to expand our generosity and what's happening in that realm, and a leadership program. We enhanced our leadership program. So we're really trying to make sure that the education that I spoke of earlier is for entry-level people, new hires, onboarding, but it's also for the entry-level and mid-management leaders so that we can make sure that we're really strengthening. And one of the key things that does differentiate Trinity is responsible care. We have been a responsible care partner since 2009. So that's critical. That's sponsored by the American Chemistry Council, and that's really critical for any chemical company. Really, most of them are members of the responsible care organization and follow those principles, as does Trinity. And one of the things that we've seen happen and will continue into the future is a way to really assess your suppliers and the companies with whom you work. So there's another platform called EcoVadis that helps those companies really assess and make sure that they are in alignment with all the companies that they're doing business with. So Trinity's in the process of becoming EcoVadis certified. And, it's all about being where your customers need you to be. And they need you to have technology, and they need you to care, and they need you to have good people, and they need you to care about the earth and be sustainable. So it's all those things.
Awesome. This has been great. Well, Jennifer, thank you so much. This has been great. I've enjoyed getting to know you and getting to know more about Trinity Logistics. So thank you for joining us today on the Chemical Show. And thanks everyone for listening. Keep listening, following, sharing, and we'll be back with another episode soon.
We've come to the end of today's podcast. We hope you enjoyed your time with us and want to learn more. Simply visit thechemicalshow.com for additional information and helpful resources. Join us again next time here on The Chemical Show with Victoria Meyer.